Hey everyone, Justin Smith there, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on our YouTube page. If you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. Also, be sure to leave a like whether you are subscribed or not. I am here to break down some breaking news today as the Crimson Tide just picked up a verbal commitment from four-star wide receiver Aaron Anderson out of New Orleans, Louisiana, by the way of Etna Carr High School. Anderson becomes the Crimson Tide's 18th commit in the 2022 recruiting class, the second wide receiver pledge, joining four-star wide receiver Kobe Prentice out of Calera High School in Calera, Alabama. Both Prentice and Anderson are projected to be slot wide receivers at the next level. When you take a look at their frames and their particular skill sets, Anderson currently stands at 5'9", weighs approximately 185 pounds. So he's built a little bit like a running back, but he is projected to be a wide receiver at the next level. I am really high on this kid personally. I think he checks all of the boxes, especially when you're looking for a slot wide receiver. He's a dynamic athlete with some next level athleticism, has decent route running skills. He has the speed that you want to see out of a slot wide receiver. But what I feel takes his game to another level, and why I feel he is going to be a five-star recruit before the 2022 recruiting class is said and done, is that next level athleticism that I talked about previously. This guy who is dangerous with the football in his hands after the catch. He can really climb the ladder and go get the football, snatch it out of the air, so he can be a red zone threat. And that is what I think made Jalen Waddle so special at the next level for the Crimson Tide, was that vertical that he possessed. I think that was really a valuable asset for Jalen Waddle. I know a lot of fans, especially Alabama fans, like to compare former Alabama players to recruits, and I know a lot of people recently have tried to compare a lot of guys to Jalen Waddle, but I think if you had to compare a guy to Jalen Waddle, Aaron Anderson, he is that perfect comparison. I don't really like to do comparisons myself. I don't really believe in them, but if you had to compare a guy to Aaron Anderson, I feel like Jalen Waddle and Aaron Anderson are clones of each other. Just looking at what Aaron Anderson brings to the table, that particular skill set that he has. His frame is a bit more developed than Jalen Waddle's was coming out of high school, in my opinion. So I am really high on Aaron Anderson. I think this is a massive pickup for the Crimson Tide to go into Louisiana and pick up a star wide receiver. He was once verbally committed to the LSU Tigers, but the Crimson Tide were steadily recruiting him despite his pledge to the Tigers. Ed Orgeron and LSU announced that they were going to part ways at the end of this football season, and Aaron Anderson quickly reopened his recruitment, backed off his pledge from the Tigers, and said he was going to explore all of his options. When he made it public that he was going to decommit from the Tigers, he did express to gsports.com that Alabama was most likely the front runner in his recruitment. So this is not a huge surprise that the Crimson Tide picked up Aaron Anderson, but this is definitely a huge pickup for the Crimson Tide in the 2022 recruiting class, adding on their 18th commit, their second wide receiver pledge. I don't think the Crimson Tide are done recruiting wide receivers. They may not go after more slot guys in the future, but they will definitely get some other wide receivers moving forward. Some prospects to watch out for are guys we have talked about constantly on our YouTube page. When we talk about guys like Barian Brown, Shaz Preston, Evan Stewart, those are just some of the names to watch out for when it comes to the Crimson Tide recruiting wide receivers in this 2022 recruiting class. As always, you guys can follow coverage of Touchdown Alabama's coverage on Alabama's recruiting efforts over at touchdownalabama.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, subscribe to touchdownalabama.com as well. While you're at it, you guys can check out our full scouting reports on each Tide commit in each recruiting class in our own independent recruiting rankings over at touchdownalabama.com. We'll have Aaron Anderson rated as a four-star recruit. As I said earlier, I think he will be a guy who's going to be pushing for a five-star rating. We will continue to evaluate him moving forward to definitely see if he has earned that, but I think he has the potential to definitely get that fifth star. Just taking a look at his film, he is a really special athlete in this 2022 recruiting class. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama.